Hello and welcome once more to Living as Is. And I am Shah. Welcome. Through all my early questions around the ways I could read and sense people, there was never one thought about Kundalini or chakras, let alone what a rising was. Just totally unknown. And I've mentioned before, Kundalini can live at the base and stir, but in that stirring, it doesn't mean she's going to rise. She's viewed as being the reason why some people can be active in clairvoyance. In fact, Kundalini is held by many to be responsible for all psychic activity. And she doesn't necessarily have to be completely active to create change within the psychic system. When I was working with transmediumship, the energy and the channels being used, they were really good for Kundalini. It meant these open paths could be used to improve the connections for her. At 18, an event took place, and it could have been a forerunner to myself opening up further and being as sensitive as I am. At 18, I decided to study the long form Tai Chi. Tai Chi is a martial art, a relaxation exercise, and is used as a moving meditation. The form I studied was being taught only as a moving meditation. The instructor gave no talk about what could be achieved using Tai Chi, only what we were using it for: exercise and relaxation. It turned out to be a really enjoyable exercise. Every movement flowed into the next, and we learnt the form over a year. With each movement building onto the next as the year went by, I noticed the way in which I felt sometimes as if I was floating, really balanced, really light. As the year went by, the last few sessions were used to build on the routine and as an aid to remembering each step. As these sessions were repeated, I noticed around my hands there were flashes of bluish green light. The more I settled within, the more this light built and became steady. Yeah, interesting. So now I'm feeling nice and settled. I'm feeling light, really steady. And at this point in the sequence of movements, I've moved around to face a large white wall in the room I'm in. So through the sequence of events of Tai Chi, if you've ever done Tai Chi, you move all your body. You're not just moving your hands, and you're moving all your body. So I had moved around to face a wall, and we were in like a long oblong village hall, and the section I was near had this really massive, really big white wall. And as I'm going through the motions and I'm looking at the white wall in front of me, a green dot appeared. Maybe it was a globe. I don't know. But to me, this was a very large, very obvious green circle, green ball of light, green globe. I don't know. It was green. It was a circle. It was there in front of me. looking left and right. I'm looking at everybody in the room, and I'm thinking, am I nuts? I've got to be nuts. I mean, can't you see this light? I come on, it's at least a foot wide, and it's on that wall. Yeah. When I look back to the room and I look back at this wall, it's no longer just a steady um, green light. It's now a pulsing, slow, rhythmic light, and it's still green, but it's just pulsing. And I turn back to the people in the room, and mentally, I'm kind of pleading with people just to look at it, because now it's a pulsing globe of light on the wall. And I can't answer this. I have no answer for this at all. And I turn back to the wall after doing this mental pleading with everybody, and it's really getting weird now. As if a foot wide pulsing globe on a white wall is not already weird. This pulsing globe, this pulsing circle, it's still pulsing, but that's not the weird part. There's now lines coming out, and they're not smooth lines. It's not like straight lines coming. These are wiggles. These are jagged lines that are coming out from this globe. And then I thought, you know what? This reminds me of a bloodshot eye. And the lines continued to grow. And they slowly spread out, taking on the entire wall. And then I get this sensation. And it's a feeling. There's no voice. There's no one talking to me. It's just a feeling. Close my eyes. I'm thinking, nope, not going to happen. I've never closed my eyes at any point during this process. I'm not closing them now. Unfortunately, this feeling was quite insistent. So eventually I closed my eyes. And as the eyes closed, everything behind the eyelids was green. Apart from right in the center, the pulsing green dot, the green globe, it had become a white pulsing dot. I can feel my body moving through the sequences. Everything feels connected. Everything feels as if it's one. And then after a few moments, the feeling to close my eyes became a feeling to open my eyes. Now, again, I'd been continuing with the movements. So in the movements of Tai Chi, I'd gone from facing a wall, turning to now facing the instructor. And I'm looking straight at this instructor, and a line started to appear around the instructor. And it seemed to match the form of their body and moved around their body. And then when it came to the left shoulder, I noticed a break. I've never seen anything like this before, so I didn't know what to call it. So at this time, I didn't know that what I was looking at was an aura. I didn't even know I could see an aura. All I could see was this line with a break on the left shoulder. But as if everything so far was not strange enough, there just had to be an icing on the cake. There's a feeling coming from inside myself. This is known. But how can it be? Never been in this class before, never seen this teacher before. So, as this feeling is telling me this is known, I asked one question. What does this mean? And it was like a drop-down menu appears. And it rolls itself through these pages talking about damage, internal damage, fresh damage. And it's just going through this list of damage. And then all of a sudden it stops. And there in front of me, internal old damage. I'm stunned. What the hell is going on? Now, running all of what's happened through my head, I'm thinking, with what I see in front of me right now, there's only one way to confirm this. I just have to ask the instructor. The session comes to an end, and as I'm thanking the instructor for the classes, and this is the last one, I mentioned to them there seems to be something wrong with the movement of their left shoulder. And they tell me it's an old injury, it's taking time to heal, but it will be okay. Now I'm walking out of the final class, and I have no idea what's just happened. So I start doing some searches, asking questions to people, finally finding auras. I arrived at some kind of an answer. Yeah, I don't, because I still need to do some research. I still need to look into this a bit further. I still need answers in some way. And it's not so straightforward for me to accept anyone has to follow any particular exercises for activating Kundalini. However, I also accept that certain exercises may assist someone. Energy within my system was activated through the exercise, through the routine of long form Tai Chi. I was only 18 at the time. As a much younger child, I was falling into trance states. So this shows from a young age, the third eye was being tweaked and opened by the energy of Kundalini. If I was already using the energy of Kundalini in trance as a young child, and later at 18, she rises to completely open to the third eye. For myself, this is showing Kundalini has risen in a previous lifetime. In Tai Chi, Kundalini was able to completely open the third eye. So this, for myself, shows this system, my system, was ready for the third eye to be opened. During the time I'd been attending the Tai Chi classes, I'd also been attending a free church in Shrewsbury, Shropshire, and I was learning laying on of hands, a natural form of healing. There were experiences taking place at this venue, which 2 years later pushed me to move on to learn more about what was taking place. Now, as my system was open to the third eye, when I started practicing with the chakra meditation, Kundalini had a ready-made pathway. At 21, attending the spiritualist church for the first time, only because I'd looked into the church and found they practiced clairvoyance. There was some hope it could deepen my understanding as well as bring more to myself in terms of knowledge. If you piece all of it together, everything that had taken place before my year of chakra meditation at 26, Kundalini was well primed, adding to this everything I'm taking on in study and exercise and alternative healing. Not only did this make this vessel, me, this body, perfect for Kundalini, but was also enriching the pranic flow in myself, the flow of energy, which kind of seems to have made it inevitable there would be a full rising within this lifetime. Now, I'll just say that the energy of Kundalini is known as chi, ki, prana, and I'm certain in other systems they would have a name, perhaps like lung in, I believe, in Chinese. So whilst we look at the name Kundalini and we look upon Kundalini as something that is part of us and something that moves through us and can, when the time is right, just rise and move and cleanse the system. The same can be for focusing energy. So if we say Kundalini is prana, Kundalini is chi, then in doing the Tai Chi movements, I was directing energy through my system without realizing I was directing energy through my system. And so by bringing the mind and the body together, and then to a certain extent adding the soul, all three coming together in those movements of Tai Chi, it was another system by which the energies would shift and move. In this reference, I'm using the word Kundalini. So Kundalini was able to shift, move the energies up to the third eye, open the third eye. When I closed my eyes and the dot went from a green dot to a white dot, there's something I have to say here, something I came to understand as time went by. I do believe in auras, and I do believe you can see auras, and I do believe auras can be sensed. But also what you have to bear in mind is the ways in which the eyes work. So if you focus intently on an object and then move your eyes to one side, there's an imprint made at the back of your retinas, and that imprint will stay for a moment or two. You can have, if it's a bright light, it can burn an imprint onto the back of your head, onto the back of your eyes. And when I say burn, I'm not liking it to a flame and your eyeball lighting up. It's that the imprint is so strong, they call it burning. So also, when you are staring at a particular color and then you close your eyes, a negative can appear, so the color can change when you close your eyes. So I'm not going to be sitting here and saying that the light went from a green to a white. What I'm saying is that there's a possibility that what actually happened at that time was just the color changing because I closed my eyes. And so I say these things because I am all for discernment. I'm big, big, big on discernment. And I feel things need to be double checked and things need to be looked into. So I do feel that when I don't do much aura reading these days, so I wouldn't say I'm practiced at it. When I did work with it and I did practice with it, I did notice this kind of juddering, moving line around people before I saw color, and that to me is that imprint on the back of the retina, where you're so focused and you're looking for something, and then something appears. It could just be the imprint. So you really do need to check these things. And I'm also a big fan of experience over word of mouth. So I always prefer to have an experience of something rather than just read it and believe it. So again, this is where my suggestion of discernment comes in. Everything that I've experienced through my life, which I'm going to be bringing to you, I have done my due diligence. I've checked, used my discernment, and checked again. It's the same as when I studied Advaita Vedanta. I started in 2008, and my studies kind of came into fruition round about 2012. So for 4 years, I was intently studying. And part of the reason why I was studying wasn't just to take on board information and know what I was looking at, know what I was trying to understand, but to also double check what I was being presented with. So in a previous video, I talked about a teacher who went and took something from Buddhism to Christianity and said he was going to create something different. And I emphasized the word create something different. They never did. They just used different language. And this is what I mean about checking things. Use your discernment, check for yourself. And I may at some point in the future, I'm not certain yet, I'm going to be thinking about this and looking into it, but I may bring meditations forward to help with things like aura seeing, to help with things like clairvoyance. I may bring them forward, but we'll have to wait and see. So for now, this is going to be my video before the new year. So I wish you all the best for 2025. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of everything. So come on. I'd love you to click like, subscribe, click the notify, be a part of it. Come on, join in. Thank you once again. Thank you very much. Blessings to you all.